Hello, collective. Welcome back to my channel. This is Divine Eye Mystic. Thank you guys for returning. If you're new to my channel, welcome. This is a general reading, so only take what resonates, you guys. This could be past, present, or future energy. This can be energy around you, collective, your past person, places, times, and also events. All right. So only take what resonates. Gender is also fluid, so if I'm talking about a he, I could also be talking about a she. This could also be the same sex, all right, or someone into that, all right. But right now, I did a previous reading, but I left one card out to clarify later, and that card is assisted in unaliving people for clout. So I'm gonna go ahead and clarify that before I go on to any other readings, all right. So let's go ahead and jump right into that. I've already pre-shuffled and cleansed my energy, my space, so let's see what this is about. Assisted in unaliving people for clout. Clarify. Assisted in unaliving people for clout. Who is this? Show me what I need to see. Four Swords with the King of Pentacles. Libra, Capricorn with the Five of Swords at the bottom of the deck in reverse. Aquarius energy. Somebody could be taking a break from that now, whoever this is with this King of Pentacles. With this mature, this is like, my mature man card, but this is somebody, that holds a lot of power. They symbolize, power, like it's not something, um, this could have been someone in the past that was not able to, or did not make firm commitments and things, or didn't have like a self, a good self view of who they really were. You know what I'm saying? It's like somebody losing sight of who they really are. Getting caught up in their money, or letting themselves be validated by, their wealth, their image, you know what I'm saying, their status. But at the same time, this is somebody, that's mature, but they also, carry a lot of wealth that goes along with them, very courageous. But with this Four of Swords, it's like someone, is either laying something to rest, or they're, finding that solitude to understand, why something happened and why. Contemplating. It's like somebody could be healing right now, whoever this is. They could be a Libra that was into this at one time. Clarify the Four of Swords. What's the Four of Swords? Like somebody could be healing right now, like wanting to call a truce or have some type of recuperating phase moment. What's the Four of Swords? What's the Four of Swords? King of Swords. Like somebody's looking at how they need to set boundaries, or someone that needs to, have, like I said, make firm commitments in situations. And I'm also getting whoever this is. They could be a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. But I feel like something was at a time somebody, was in a low vibrational place. Five of Swords in reverse. Like somebody was in a, it wasn't, yeah, somebody was in a place where, they may not have been proud of themselves. Like somebody may not have, thought, very highly of themselves. You know what I'm saying? They may have even, found themselves, not liking what they see when they look in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? And with the Five of Swords in reverse at the bottom of the deck before, it's like somebody, they want to apologize. Like it's basically like wanting to be forgiven, like want to make amends. They don't want to, be looked at as the enemy anymore. Like they don't want that. Somebody, they don't want that anymore. And I feel like now somebody wants to lay something to rest, call a truce to something. They could, at one time, being, someone that was, in a not so good place, at the time. Like somebody may not have been, very um empathetic. You know what I'm saying? Sympathetic even. Because, I mean, you got to be in a real low place. You got to be in a dark place to assist somebody in unaliving people for cloud. Like, it could even be spiritually. Like, somebody done... And somebody could have did this, whoever they assisted or whoever wanted them to assist them. Like, this is somebody they could have, done this at least 4 times. Like they may have, came to this person, for their help at least, 4 times or more. And it's like now someone, wants to lay something to rest. Like they don't want to, they want to bring, have some type of peace now. Like they could have went into solitude, just being withdrawn, from communicating, with whoever this person is. Could be somebody that is known, for having, money, what I'm saying, wealth, somebody that comes off as, very good with money. You know what I'm saying? They know how to handle money. They know how to, and not just money, but energy. With this King of Swords out here, like someone knows, they're very clever. Like somebody knows, how to communicate and how, to, get in and out of situations. But I feel like when it comes to them, having to have that access to a person, like you got to know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, this is somebody that has whatever goals you put in mind, you have to be firm in whatever you commit to doing to get there. And I feel like now, somebody doesn't want to be in that energy anymore. They don't want to be in that state of mind. They don't want to, be contacted and, used, or they don't want to be manipulated, or somebody knows their way around, people that may be trying to get close. You know what I'm saying? Knows they in, their way around something. Like somebody got a very high intellect. Like somebody's very, very intuitive, very on top of their shit with this King of Swords. Like somebody knows, at this point, even with them recuperating, want to be in some type of peace. It's like somebody has that intellect, that knack for leadership. You know what I'm saying? Like they somebody that, comes off as that person. And like you'll know them when you see them. Like you can tell, they the CEO. You can tell they the head honcho. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the person somebody always call them because they know they can, get it done. But it's like somebody want to lay something to rest. You know what I'm saying? They want to, it's like calling a truce. Even when it comes to, self-examination, like looking, within. Clarify this King of Pentacles. Assisted in unaliving people for cloud. Clarify this King of Pentacles. What's the King of Pentacles? Nine of Cups. See, somebody had a lot of success. Like, somebody was known for being successful at this. Like, this is how, someone deemed, or how they got their name. It's like somebody, this is how, with this Nine of Cups, could be a Pisces, could have Capricorn somewhere in their chart. They could have assisted somebody, that's a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. Because you got a King of Swords out here, and you got a King of Pentacles out here. It's like somebody else had the know-how, the communication. They knew what to say. They knew, they had the gift of gab. Like somebody had them, they knew you know what I'm saying? They called the shots. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else had the money that they would get from it. You know what I'm saying? This could be, somebody that people trusted. They knew this person, to have, a lot of success. And this is how somebody saw themselves when it came to success. Like they, they looked at themselves as, built wealth off of this. You know what I'm saying? And it's like somebody looked at how this is how, someone ended up being, in this image. You know what I'm saying? Got the Hangman at the bottom of the deck in reverse. Taurus energy. Somebody's stuck like in this materialistic mindset of thinking, one way. And not looking at, how they neglecting their spiritual side. Like somebody's wasn't looking at something, in the spiritual aspect. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this could have been something that, was being done not just in the physical sense, but in a spiritual sense too. Like somebody was, possibly like not looking at how they were a spiritual assassin. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what they were not seeing. Like somebody was not seeing what they doing like that. And it's not, just that. It's like you assassinating your character. You killing who you really are. You killing, the best version of yourself by using your spiritual gifts, to assist somebody, with doing something that's unfair. And this is their way of, building a success. This is how they looked at, success in their own eyes was, I can build my pinnacles. I can have the life I want. I can, be with who I want. I can do this and do that, if I'm, able to do this and they pay me. You know what I'm saying? And this could be, with this Hangman in reverse, it's causing somebody, and it could have caused somebody a lot of depression, a lot of dissatisfaction, with themselves. Like I said, like somebody didn't like what they saw when they looked in the mirror. Like somebody didn't like, that version of themselves that they like, damn, man, it's like being in a room full of nice ass people. Them nice ass people don't know that you take people out, you know what I'm saying, for money. And then any one of them can be next. You know what I'm saying? And these cups can be successful people. This could be, bodies, to them. Folks that they may have came up against, or people that they, assisted, in some type of dark divination or something like that. Because at the bottom of the deck, you got the Hangman in reverse, the Four of Cups, and the Moon in reverse. This person, may have possibly even stopped accepting, communication like offers, you know what I'm saying? Or, seeing how they may not be accepted, to in somebody. It's like wanting to go back to a certain lifestyle, but you may not get that acceptance. Yeah, especially if somebody's settled, for where they at in life right now and looking at, I did this or I helped somebody in doing some shit like this, and now, I might as well just accept, what's going on, or that, something is not gonna get better than this. Like I might as well just settle for, where I'm at right now with that. Especially when you allow, the outside world and things that, you done participated in, or the things that, distracted you for so long, to get the best of you. With the moon in reverse, it's time to rest and reflect. You know what I'm saying? Think about them things that you know, got a lot of passion for, that you want to, actually, start anew. But I feel like, somebody deemed their success, they would build a success off of doing this. What's the Four of Swords with the King of Swords? It's Eight of Cups. It flipped out. I'm not gonna take it because it just flipped out like it, wanted to come out in the upright and ended up sideways, like not even in reverse even. Clarify the Four of Swords with the King of Swords. What's the Four of Swords with the King of Swords? What's the Four of Swords with the King of Swords? Clarify. The Strength. Leo energy with the Six of Cups at the bottom of the deck in reverse. Scorpio. Yeah. See, somebody, now is having to look at, someone gaining their strength in a situation. Maybe somebody thought, was contemplating, doing something, possibly maybe to a Libra or something like that, or helping or something. But it's like this person, had some communication or whatever they, thought, something would be. It's like, would, put somebody down, or whatever somebody thought, would take somebody out. It didn't. Like somebody, came back from something. Somebody had, too much protection. Like somebody had too much, somebody's too strong for, what they thought, would work on somebody with this strength. Too strong for someone. Somebody was too strong or outpower someone or outrank someone in the spiritual sense. Like somebody may have felt like, because I'm getting somebody them, they may have, did this to a lot of people. They may have, something may have worked on a lot of people, but I feel like somebody met they match when they came to this Leo. Like some with this strength, with the Six of Cups in reverse. Like somebody, now is looking at, even with this strength, it's like someone exuberating, some strength, some, courage about themselves. Especially at a time when somebody may have, at one time didn't think that they had the capacity, like, to have that self-control all across the board, no matter what it's about. It's like somebody wanting to show off their strength in a situation. You know what I'm saying? Or like somebody wanting to use somebody's, you know, strengths in areas of their life. Like, yeah, somebody stronger than they thought they were. Or somebody stronger than they, gave them credit for, or something like that. Because somebody got a lot of, discipline about themselves, but it's also, them learning to work, with their own intuition, like their own instinctive nature. You know what I'm saying? Like when somebody instincts, telling them, to hold off, or, stand firm in something. You know what I'm saying? Like hold your line. You know what I'm saying? Hold your position. Don't let, somebody, cause you to waver or question, what it is that you seeing, or that to be, true or fair, in a situation. Like don't let somebody, make you think, second guess yourself. You know what I'm saying? Stay true to who you are. And that's in anything you pursue. You know what I'm saying? Now, what you got, the Six of Cups at the bottom of the deck in reverse with the Six of Pentacles. 66 can be significant. 666 can be significant. Somebody could be having, could have, been in this materialistic mindset with this 666. Like, that's, an angel number for you, needing to stay focused on things outside of material wealth, material gain, in situations like that's a, bad territory to, be treading in when you manifesting. But this is, this Six of Cups in reverse is like, somebody, coming into a new group of people, like, you know what I'm saying, letting the past, people that they were involved with lead them in the past. You know what I'm saying? You got the strength to do that. Don't be, naive or think that you gotta um stick, with the Four of Cups. Like, don't feel like you gotta settle for where you at because of the people and the people that know you do what you did and shit like that, or the people that got a little something on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't let me, remind you I know what you did last summer, type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't let that be something that make you settle, for a lifestyle that you don't want. You know what I'm saying? That ain't something that you want to be known for. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm gonna tell these people that you this. Okay, well, let that happen. You stronger than what people think you are. Somebody is stronger than they think they are. But I feel like, whoever this is that assisted in unaliving people for clout, like I said, it could be a Libra, could be a Gemini, or they could be a Libra or a Capricorn. Because there's two people out here. There's a King of Swords and there's a King of Pentacles. But they need to have, they realizing now, that they need to put themselves in an environment where, it's more like they soul tribe, being where they know they feel more secure, in being who they are, instead of trying to stay around a bunch of, you know, hitters. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to be under that same, umbrella with them, and got to watch out for them too, because you assisted them, you helped them. You know what I'm saying? And it's like somebody, wanting to work against another person, to take something, that take somebody else down, or to, this is how this King of Pentacles, like, this is how they deem their success. This is how they felt like, I can do this and I can, give some money, get some money out of here too. And I feel like somebody came up against somebody that, was way stronger, in the spirit sense than they appeared in the physical. Like, you can, go all day and think, just because somebody, weak for you in the physical realm, that, on this earthly plane, that spiritually, if you attack them, they gonna be that same weak ass person, or simp, or, that gullible person in the spirit. Like, somebody ain't who they think they is, in the spirit realm. Like, they, this is somebody that was stronger than they thought they were. Somebody got a lot more protection than they think they did. You know what I'm saying? From whatever they normally would get away with, or normally, was successful in. Somebody met they match, with this strength out here. Just like somebody wanted, to use somebody else's, way of getting around, knowing people. Like, you can talk to people, you can, work a crowd, you know what I'm saying? You can, get to people, you can say the right things, you know how to read a situation and stuff like that. And it's like somebody, saying like, listen, I'm the head hunter, I'm gonna call the shots, some of this, some of that. I need you to do this, and it's like, you better than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can, throw your weight around with the right people, but, you one day will meet your match. And I feel like, somebody now is realizing, they have to find a safer damn thing to do. Like, go, like they say, go find something safe to do. And I feel like with this Six of Cups, like, somebody's, looking at possibly, finding, new people to be around, more on their level, calming their life down, slowing things down in their life, to where, it's more or less, things that aligns with them more than something that is against them, and that they're gonna have to, be reminded of every time they get around somebody. It's like somebody wanting to put the past behind them. They don't want to be around people that remind them of their past. That's constantly bringing up their past. It's constantly, wanting to come, bring that up to let them, know, how you got them people collected. They're not gonna let you live it down. It could be, somebody now, whoever this Six of Pentacles, like, somebody could want to be more giving now, to a situation, or they want to come in, with this equal give and take, even though they see you as somebody that may have what you need, after, being, maybe in a struggle at some point. You may have had some type of issues, like with money, coming in for you, or something in the past, or something like that, with this Taurus, this Five of Pentacles in Taurus. What's the King of Pentacles with the Nine of Cups? Clarify the King of Pentacles with the Nine of Cups. Assistant. Clarify the King of Pentacles with the Nine of Cups. King of Pentacles with the Nine of Cups. Clarify the King of Pentacles with the Nine of Cups. Ace of Wands. With the Judgment at the bottom of the deck in reverse. Libra again, but it's in reverse. Whoever this King of Pentacles is, like somebody done deem, thinking, ooh, because I'm seeing somebody, possibly either wanting to get pregnant by this person, when they, trying to look at that as some type of way of, building some type of wealth or success, or this person, looking at how they can, like somebody wanting to get, knocked up by this person, to have a kid, like, you know what I'm saying? Or somebody wants to come in, doing this with this Judgment in reverse. Like somebody need to grow up. But it's like with this Ace of Wands, it's like somebody, having a lot of passion, either for what they do, or somebody, involves, their, using that as a, a way to identify themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like someone using that as a way to validate who they are. You know what I'm saying? It's like how many people will let me get with them. You know what I'm saying? Lay down with them, get that, let me get that about you action. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm getting. And it's like somebody was immature, in that way when it comes to them being responsible. It's like somebody, emotionally unavailable. You know what I'm saying? And they just out here, laying with whoever let them lay, or whoever got a little something going for them. They, laying with them. But at the same time, this is how they look at, they build. This is how they look at themselves being successful in doing. It's like somebody, feels like the more people that'll let them, you know, hit it and quit it, what I'm saying, the more they feel like, this is about, because I dress like this, I had this, I ride like that, you know what I'm saying? They gonna come towards me, they gonna let me hit. You know what I'm saying? So this is how somebody, determined, they success then. Like this is like almost like what they felt like, was helping them build wealth. You know what I'm saying? Like they felt like that's what deemed them successful is, these people, coming towards them, to in this way, you know what I'm saying? Even if it's just on that. Because I feel like somebody thought, they would block somebody's, efforts in being able to like build, you know what I'm saying? Like have, some type of new beginning and success, or, being able to plant the seeds. But when you're talking about this Ace of Wands, it's like somebody, could have thought, getting these people pregnant and being able to, or somebody wanting to be pregnant by this person would give them some type of success. Because this Ace of Wands is about planting seeds. You know what I'm saying? Could be a new birth. It could be, a creative idea, some type of money making idea. Like I said, somebody thought, that was the way, to getting, to a person. You know what I'm saying? Getting close to them in that way. Like, this is how they looked at, building their success was, meeting up with these people, over, something sexual. You know what I'm saying? And being emotionally unavailable to them, at the same time. Because I feel like, now someone is, trying to, could be something, coming up. Like, somebody could be wanting to invite somebody to something pretty soon. Hellfire, the Ace of Wands. What's the Ace of Wands? Like, somebody want to lay this, like I said, Five of Swords in reverse. Like, there's a change coming in, like, pretty fast. But I feel like it got a lot to do with someone not being, because I got the Five of Swords just off the King of Swords and the Four of Swords. But this Five of Swords finally came out in reverse for this Ace of Wands. Aquarius energy, but, it's like being mindful, you know what I'm saying, or somebody wanting to come in. Because, like I said, in the upright, the Five of Swords is like somebody being in a win-lose, battle back and forth, whether it's within themselves or there's some type of, win or lose battle when it comes to, how they assert themselves, like whether it's indirect communication or whether it's something they do behind somebody's back or something going on, unbeknownst to you. But this came out in the upright, so it's like, you got to be ready for change. Because I feel like, somebody's want to apologize. They want to ask for forgiveness. Bottom of the deck, you got the Seven of Wands. And they want to come in. They don't know if they want to, hold back or just move on. You know what I'm saying? If they don't know if they want to hold on or just back off. You know what I'm saying? But they got to make a decision. They got to stand firm in it, whatever it is. That's why you got this King of Swords out here. Like, you got to stand firm in whatever you decide. Keep your word on something. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to commit to something, know the actions you got to take, to get there. But I feel like, when it comes to this card, assisting, like somebody want their forgiveness. Because I feel like somebody thought, what they were doing. Like, this could have been a past person that was into something like this and they got around to you, and it was like one of them things where, let's just say this person and another person, was used to meeting people online. Okay, dating, site I'm getting. And they may have, thought, planning these people energy, seeing if they can do, this, that, and the third, with sacrificing them or something like that, or, putting them in situations where, they can utilize their gifts and see if it actually works. You know what I'm saying? Or like assisting somebody, to see if they can get, if they can accomplish that by way of, using that as a moment to do that. Because that, who don't meet up with people on dating sites, or who not gonna use, Uber or Lyft, and to get where they're going, so they don't have to drive, especially if they know they're gonna be drinking, but getting in everybody's car, Uber or Lyft wise, to go back home or go to another place after you done, ingested, quite a few drinks or whatever. Now you gotta trust a stranger driving you home, rather than coming with somebody that don't drink at all, that will get you safely back and forth, that you trust. Now you got to trust, not only a stranger to get you back and forth where you need to go safely, but you have to, be mindful of the fact you are intoxicated. You are under the influence of something. And you trust in somebody else with your life, your safety. You know what I'm saying? But it's like that person, Ace of Wands, got something else in mind. Because, this is how they, move. This is how they, go about getting into that kind of contact with people or having access to people like that. But it also takes a strong-minded person, with the strength out here to be able to have that self-discipline about yourself, to be able to know, when something is not fair, not, that's not necessary, don't do this, or, looking at how something is and still doing it anyway, regardless of, what the consequences are, especially if you feel like you're not going to be found out, like, can get yourself out of something, or you can talk yourself out of something, or, you're going to have somebody that's going to come in and vouch for you and, give you some type of alibi, something like that, so you good. But at the end of the day, in the back of your mind, you still know that you're guilty as charged, whether they find out the truth or not. But I feel like, somebody wants to come in now and say, hey, I want to apologize for this. You know what I'm saying? I need your forgiveness, for doing this. And somebody could have, laid someone to rest with this Four of Swords. Like somebody could have laid somebody to rest. They could want some peace now. They could not be getting it. You know what I'm saying? Because they want this forgiveness. Like somebody may feel like, so it's a change that's supposed to, be coming in, but it may be something that you have to respond to real quick. So you're going to have to be open-minded, and flexible, so that when this apology, comes in, or them wanting to be forgiven comes in, you'll be able to, respond to it. Because this person got to make a decision, And I feel like you're stronger than you think you are, with the Queen of Wands at the bottom of the deck behind this Seven of Swords. Seven of Wands. It's Leo energy, in the reverse. But right behind it is the Queen of Wands. Leo energy as well. Like this could have been somebody that, broke your heart in the past. Or somebody, that you separated from, but it was a necessary breakup. It was a necessary separation. It was something, that needed to happen, and that cutoff needed to happen. You know what I'm saying? And they may have done this, out of hurt. You know what I'm saying? Out of pain, over this breakup and the cutoff. This could have been some type of romantic connection you had with someone, but it's like they felt like they, they feelings, got the best of them. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody really felt like, this breakup or this separation, was something that didn't have to happen, but it was needed. Things could be picking up for you now. Things, may have been like somebody doing, you may have done most of the work in the past. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody may have felt like they did the majority of the work, with the Three of Wands in reverse. Like somebody could feel like, they put more into showing, up for another person. You may have, did more than your fair share to let somebody know you was there for them, you cared. You wanted to be with them. You were, regardless of the distance, regardless of the work you may have had to, a long distance relationship or a long distance situation may have, happened with the Three of Wands in reverse. Yeah. But I feel like, whatever somebody thought, like somebody just felt like they did more than the other person. That's who this is. Like, how would a collective know who this is? Assisted in allowing people for cloud. How would my collective know who this person is if this is somebody they know? They're channeling. How will they know who this person is? Four of Wands in reverse. Aries energy. The Two of Cups. They could be somebody that you may have, wanted, an offer with. You may have, had this, attraction to. Y'all both may have had like a mutual attraction to each other. Like this strong magnetic, pull with this Two of Cups. Could have seen yourself in a relationship with this person. Something may have felt like a honeymoon phase with this person, or it may, a cycle may have went through. Something may have started out like a honeymoon phase and then it died off. And it may have been because this person, may, was involved. They may have had, you know, they may have had some type of living situation where they may have been living with someone or off and on, or they was in some type of toxic family dynamic or something with the Four of Wands in reverse. It's like someone could have been going through a divorce. Or they were, had a living situation where they may have, had to settle for where they were or how something was going at the time, with their home life. Maybe they were, kind of a mystical traveler or something like that. Like they may have, been here one minute and here the next or something like that. Or they were settling for where they were or trying to work with where they were at. You know what I'm saying? Like, how somebody be in a living situation where this is, where they at for now. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just, doing this until I get my money up. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm out of here. I'm going to, be in this Airbnb or whatever till, I save some money and then I'm going to get my own place or something like that. That's what I'm getting. Like, if that ain't your story, don't rock with that. You know what I'm saying? But with this Four of Wands in reverse, that's what I'm getting. It's like, and with this Two of Cups at the bottom of the deck. And they may have felt like, whatever it was that they didn't have enough to offer or something like that. Maybe they did this to, get money in a situation. But, this was, they way of thinking, this is how they would, kind of match your energy. Or somebody was trying to have a little something more because they may have saw you as somebody very successful. You know what I'm saying? Or, they seen you have a lot of goals, or, you had a lot of desires, things you wanted to go after, things you, may have already started doing the work in, you know what I'm saying? And they may have, wanted to get there. They may have wanted to go to college, Three of Pentacles. They may have wanted to, graduate high school. Maybe they didn't. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that they felt like they may not have been good enough, for you or in alignment or on your level, for them to consider, you, or for you to consider them, like not knowing what you see in them or something like that. But it was a magnetic attraction with this Two of Cups. Like somebody had like it could have been a marriage at one point, or someone had some type of, partnership or union with someone. Like you may have had that feeling like this your person, or you just had this pull toward each other. You know what I'm saying? Something may have felt like lust, or, like it's a honeymoon phase or something like that. But with this Four of Wands, like you'll know who this person is. He could have been married to him, could be divorced from him now. Or you could have been in some type of, romantic connection with them. And it just, it may have been the fact that this person, came from like a broken home. You know what I'm saying? Like they may have not had, the best situation they were in at the time. And they could have just been, in a marriage or something like that wasn't working out, or they was in some type of separation with this person. May have been living with them, but they weren't, on the best terms, or that maybe they said that. Yeah, but you got Capricorn out here, Libra, Gemini, Leo. So yeah, you got fire out here. You got air. Could be any sign. Is this King of Swords and this King of Pentacles the same person? Upright, yes. Reverse, no. Is this King of Pentacles and this King of Swords the same person? Or are they two different people? Is the King of Swords and the King of Pentacles the same person? Is the King of Swords and the King of Pentacles the same person? Holy Spirit, Holy Angels. Upright, yes. Reverse, no. No. So the King of Pentacles and the King of Swords is not the same person. They two different people. Like somebody is a King of Swords, somebody else was a King of Pentacles. Three of Wands came out in reverse. Aries energy. Because like somebody feels as though like they didn't have the somebody felt like they were doing most of the work. Like one of them felt like, the other one, somebody else felt like they did most of the work. Like it could have been this King of Swords. Like somebody felt like they were doing most of the work in a situation. Like I'm doing all this and you just, yeah. Like somebody else just had like somebody else came off as mature, when they had a little money, clout, and all that. You know what I'm saying? It may have, been working with a little something, more than the other person. But somebody else, had, more like a spiritual sense of something. Like the spiritual know-how. You know what I'm saying? The spiritual abilities. But it's like now that someone, Three of Wands in reverse, like now that someone sees that they feel, whatever they were thinking, like damn, looking at Four of Swords, like they contemplating, like re-evaluating a situation, looking at something, for what it is, and it's like damn, I'm doing most of the work on, internally. Like I'm doing most of the work within, you know what I'm saying? Somebody else is just working on something on the outside. Somebody else is just working on their status, you know what I'm saying? Like how they, want people to see them, flock toward them, or using what they working with, to get from people, or to, get people to get at them and stuff like that. So it's like somebody, wanting to get as much information or get as much as they want to get out of something before they say anything or take any action. It's like somebody wanted to yeah. Because I feel like somebody, stuck around and they participated. long enough to see, how far somebody would go. Or like somebody, how you have an undercover person where they'll stick around and they'll participate. Like you actually got to be part of the situation. Like you actually, if you're an undercover person, like you actually do have to, they may ask you to take somebody out because they want to see if you are up. You know what I'm saying? They want to see if you down as you saying you are. And it's like somebody may have done that in the past, to help somebody, and they gave them a little money for it. But it's like somebody not want to do that no more. You know what I'm saying? Because now, like, they seeing how something is making, a situation complicated, to stick with, because they seeing how, they getting a lot more enlightened spiritually, but it's like they keeping it to themselves. It's like when somebody go home, they realizing, the guilt that they feel. They didn't feel that before. It's like somebody now, doing a lot of self-reflecting, or they get, to the point where now, they kind of hesitant in what they want to do, or doing something, or, being used in that way where they don't want to, keep doing that because of how it's making them feel. And them having the courage, to walk away from that and not, look at that as a way to earn money anymore. Like, I'm better than that. Like, I'm stronger than this. Especially if somebody, is making something known to somebody else, that I need my peace. You know what I'm saying? I don't want, anybody around me that ain't this, and this, and this. You know what I'm saying? So it's like somebody, this King of Swords don't have to be, it's not the same person, but this King of Swords could very well be a feminine in their masculine energy because of somebody that, had other options, with this Nine of Cups. Like somebody had a lot of other things that they felt like, made more sense to them to get involved with and entertain than having boundaries and having, a commitment, about something, like making firm commitments in something. And I feel like somebody else can. Like somebody knows that they have to, be mindful of making, their words stick, when they say something or do something, or when they, speak on doing whatever it is they got to do. Like you got to keep your word, like be on what you stand on, what you said. And I feel like somebody is realizing, that there's a King of Swords that's standing on what they said and they holding the line. Like that's the strength that they having to, exude. But with this Three of Wands in reverse, it's like someone, knowing that they gotta accept something, especially when you're doing most of the work. If somebody else doing most of the work, and especially if they, realizing it now during a time where they had to go through this separation, or, this humbleness, like somebody being real, and remember this card was part of the other reading when I was telling you about that humble, reliable, trustworthy. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like this card, wasn't part of that, but it is. Because I'm getting that off of this Three of Wands in reverse. Like somebody, is reliable, responsible, trustworthy. Like somebody being humble in a situation. Like somebody thought, they won was where it was at. You know what I'm saying? And it may have came up against, other people with other people, with another masculine, and they, somebody else might have had a lot of money, but I feel like somebody else, had more intellect. You know what I'm saying? They both may have been, on the same level at the time, but it's like somebody else was operating out of their ego, and somebody else, was, just a little more, like I said, spiritually inclined. You know what I'm saying? And like good at what they do. Very good at what they do. They know, they got boundaries. And if they didn't have boundaries before, like somebody's setting them now. You know what I'm saying? Like they realizing they got to set boundaries now, because now, in order for them to move forward and have, some real success. Like they gonna have to, have some self-discipline about themselves with the strength out here. Because thinking that they, were gonna have all these different cups that they were pouring into 9 of cups, and this was how they gonna look at their wishes being fulfilled. Like, this is how I'm gonna get to my money. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna invest in this person, I'm gonna lay with this person, that person, get them a little something, something, here and there, and somebody not want your forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? They may have had, some dysfunctional, a dysfunctional family dynamic. They may have had some, family issues and stuff like that, where they may have come from a broken home. They may have seen a lot of this going on. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like somebody assisted somebody else, with coming up against somebody, when it came to them, possibly teaming up, with somebody else to come against somebody else, you know what I'm saying, or other people not knowing what their spiritual ranking is. But this is somebody that realizing with the 3 of Wands, like somebody realizing they got enough now to, like if they wanted to go public with something, or if they, wanted to say something, it's like somebody either was using that as a way to keep a person around so that they can keep using them, that way. It's like hanging something over somebody's head, to keep them from like taking action. So even if it is, it's like somebody saying, listen, I know enough now to move, you know, like I want to without, something hindering me, from doing that. 2 of Wands at the bottom of the deck in the upright. Could be an Aries. And right behind this 2 of Wands is the Empress with the World. Like somebody really wanted, somebody want to explore. They want to know the truth. With the 2 of Wands, like somebody want to, it's an unexpected factor that's going to, arise. But I feel like that's going to come from somebody, coming in and revealing something. Or somebody, possibly, getting to the truth about a situation. Because this person don't want to, stay in this energy. Like somebody doesn't want to stay, they want your forgiveness. Somebody wants some forgiveness. But with this 5 of Swords in reverse, they want some forgiveness. But it's going to come as a shock. Like it's something that's, so you're going to have to be prepared, for whatever this is, when it arises. Like whatever's, this approach is going to be, or however they, trying to plan, to come towards you to reveal like how they may have thought having all these other options, what I'm saying, was the way to go. You know what I'm saying? This I'm not going. They could be an opportunist as well, like somebody that looks for those different gigs, to come up, or some type of opportunity to come up so they can jump on it. And yeah, man, and it may be short lived. This shit may be stuff that's just a temporary fix for something, a temporary little source of income until that shit fall through. And somebody thought, sleeping with a lot of different folks, you know what I'm saying, or involving themselves with a lot of different successful people, you know what I'm saying, was a way to, save their money, to build, success for themselves with this Ace of Wands. Like this is not, I'm gonna use my wand to get this, you know what I'm saying, out of a person. It's like a spiritual assassin or an energy vampire, either way, child. Because whatever it is, somebody, is keeping whatever they, wanted to do, or thinking of doing. It's like they're keeping it close to their chest. Because whatever it is, it's like somebody, it's like I said, it's like somebody, getting a lot of information. They participating long enough to see how somebody moves. You know what I'm saying? Or how somebody, is able to do what they doing, like how the process goes, and they gonna keep showing up to see how something is done. Like they gonna, it's something like that. It's like somebody feeling like, they need to get some more information. I need to, get some more of this and get some more of that before I take action. It's really just limiting somebody's success. Like it really was just holding somebody back to do that. Like, no, I got some more. I need to learn some more. I need to do this. Maybe I need to do this. And it's like somebody, because with the three of wands in reverse, Aries energy, this is somebody that, want to come demonstrate, something that they done learn lessons from. But in reverse, it's like somebody, questioning what they learned. Like they're questioning what they done went through. And it's like, damn, maybe when I learned a little more, or get better at something, that's when I'm going to, go toward this person, or that's when I'm going to go demonstrate, I learned my lesson. I did. Like somebody felt like they needed some more. Like this is somebody that felt like they needed to get some more experience. Like they needed to get some more information. Like they had to get some more on a situation. You know what I'm saying? Like I need to get some more dirt on a person. You know what I'm saying? I need to get some more truth about a situation before I come out and say or go toward that person, to say, it's like somebody felt like they needed to get some more clarity in a situation before they actually come towards, a person and make something right and get this forgiveness. Like, let me see, what else I need to see, or let me see what else I can do to make something right. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, like, mm-mm. Somebody just thought, they'll do this and just play it safe doing that. Because only doing that, collective, when somebody does something like that and they feel like they got to stick around, like in this toxic ass family dynamic or home, like I just, need to save a little money. I'm going to do this and then I'm going to, get a little more of this. Let me, see if I do this or that, if that'll work. Let me see in this relationship, in this marriage, if I do this or that, will this make it better? You know what I'm saying? Or will I be able to make something work with this person or that person? Let me see if I try to do this or do that, will it get better and I won't have to go back to this person? Something like that. I won't have to go back to doing this. Let me, get with somebody else. Let me meet another person and see, what I get out of that. And it's like somebody wanted to milk something long enough, a little longer, to see if they can get something out of it before they actually take some accountability. Judgment in reverse. Like somebody needed to grow up. But whoever this is somebody, possibly from someone's past that, they got a history. Okay. They may not have did anything towards you, but this is something that they, in the past may have had this may be somebody that got like a past history. You know what I'm saying? And this may be something that they feel as though it's one of them skeletons in the closet that they feel like, they don't want to be emotionally available. They don't want to be vulnerable with you because of them having to reveal something like that they got this kind of background. You know what I'm saying? And knowing other people that do know, or that they participated or helped, even if it was an ex lover or a friend of me now, somebody that they, no longer in contact with, or, the fact that they, want some forgiveness for playing, with you like that. You know what I'm saying? And thinking that was they way of building, success for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Or deeming their way successful because they got all these other options that, may have better jobs. They may have, all these other options. They feel like, they are, it's like somebody opportunists. They were opportunists. Like they went wherever they felt like, it was going to build their image. You know what I'm saying? Make them keep looking like this wealthy mature man, that they want to come off and be. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's like somebody else, was on a whole nother playing field, like with this Ace of Swords. And it's about the fact that somebody, they got boundaries, or they didn't. Like I said, if they didn't, they setting boundaries now. Like somebody know they gotta have boundaries with a person, with people, period. And when I asked, was the King of Swords and the King of Pentacles the same person, meaning two different meanings could have came from that. It's that person ain't the same person. Like somebody's not just a mature man about money. Somebody, is, spiritually inclined now. Somebody's, more in tune, with the universe now, with their ancestors now, for them to know they got to set boundaries. They got to make firm commitments in situations. They can't straddle the fence. As, King of Pentacles. They can't, be out here, saying they mature and got common sense and shit like that and making stupid ass decisions. You know what I'm saying? And putting themselves in situations to think like, somebody that's thirsty. You know what I'm saying? Not just for, energy, you know what I'm saying? But thinking that this is the way to go. Like, this is how I'm, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like this is something, somebody, did in a, a spiritual sense. Like somebody was a spiritual assassin. Like somebody, did, come in and kind of, you know, do some type of manipulation toward, a situation or a person in order to gain access to them and shit like that. But it's like, if something didn't work out, that's, you know what I'm saying? If that person would try to dip on them or not want something, with them, or they felt like something was going to be just about their money, then they did something, in the spiritual realm. How was their way of unaliving people? How was that? What did somebody use to do this? Assisting in unaliving people. What did they use? What did they use? The Tower. Aries again. Somebody could be Aries. Could have been like an accident, like a car accident. It could have been like something made it look like a disaster, or like something made it look like an accident or something like that. Like the Seven of Cups at the bottom of the deck now. Scorpio energy. Somebody way down behind this shit now, like burden. Possibly a King of Cups in reverse. And somebody may have to walk away from, because I feel like this King of Swords and this King of Pentacles like work together. This could have been, somebody that, they was cool with, but I feel like somebody, maybe ending a relationship, and this could be, somebody really cared about. But, it's like, somebody, the love ain't there for somebody no more. Because the tower, whatever they use to, assist in unaliving, people for cloud, like the tower came out. And they could have been, sending, like chaos or some type of, and this could have been like a feminine as well, like, cause I was getting that off of this King of Swords, like it's like somebody, bitter. And it could, like I said, it could be a same sex situation. Like somebody could have been dealing with a lot of different people, like not, men and women. But with this Seven of Cups at the bottom of the deck, it's like somebody had a lot of, they had a lot of people under their belt. Like somebody had a lot of different people they done came for. Like somebody, may have done this more than one, at least 7 times here. Or some at least 7 times or more. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody, got like some kind of delusional thinking, you know what I'm saying? Or how they thought, they saw success, like I said, like rewards. Like somebody could have had like a lot of like did some type of confusion, seemed like a lot of chaos magic, like confusion, like fucking with somebody crown chakra. Cause at the bottom of the deck you got the Seven of Cups, the Ten of Wands, Ace of Cups. I mean, yeah, the King of Cups in reverse, and the Magician. And you got the Tower out here too. So it's like somebody using, some type of chaos, magic or something like that, or sending like somebody the spirit of like making you want to take your own, do something, some harm to yourself. Especially if this is, involving somebody that feels as though they being rejected. You know what I'm saying? Or, these people are not, playing on their level. Like if somebody, they feel like gonna walk away from them because they don't have enough money. It's like somebody gonna choose somebody, another baller over me. You know what I'm saying? Or another, boss over me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do this and that to them, to get back at them. Or I'm gonna do this to somebody because, um, they come to me, they paying me, to do this. I ain't got the high priestess out here yet. You know what I'm saying? Because I would say this person goes to a spiritualist or they went to somebody, but with this Queen of Swords, this King of Swords out here, like somebody, mm. But I feel like somebody does have a potential, to abuse their power. But I feel like at the same time, like somebody wants some forgiveness for a lot of the reckless things he done did that may have caused, some damage in like every damn area of their life right now. Because I feel like somebody's getting karma. And somebody's getting karma, for that now. Like they having to look back on a lot of things that they may have, had to accept, and it keeps, this person from, feeling like they can be loved, you know what I'm saying, or they deserve it. You know what I'm saying? It's like somebody saying, I don't deserve somebody like you because of who I know I have been or the things I know I have done. You know what I'm saying? If not against you, I still, you know what I'm saying, feel like they know what they've been capable of doing, what they assisted or what they have reduced themselves at some point down to doing. For love, for likes, or for recognition, or whatever, for money. you know. But I'm going to end it here, collective. You guys make sure you do something nice for someone today, even if you don't know them. And as always, those of you that genuinely love me, know that I love you too. Mwah. Bye.